Tonight, we had planned a festivity to mark the commencement of a new journey in our lives, our inaugural gathering at our newly acquired residence. Friends, colleagues, and neighbors arrived bearing gifts and infectious enthusiasm. The evening resonated with laughter, clinking glasses, and effortless conversation. I spent much of the time outside by the grill, cooking and welcoming guests. Each handshake, smile, and chat instilled a sense of pride within me. I was proud of our new home, our budding life, and my conviction in the solidity and authenticity of our marriage. Inside, the rooms were bathed in warm light, soft music played softly, the house seemed to pulsate with life. Emma, my wife, was the focal point at this soiree. She welcomed everyone with radiant smiles and hearty laughter. Her beauty, confidence, and charm made her an exemplary hostess. The guests praised her vitality and benevolence. Everything appeared idyllic to me. However, I was oblivious to the fact that Emma was orchestrating my public embarrassment beneath this facade. Initially, subtle indications were present. Emma frequently vanished, slipping into the hallway or kitchen, ostensibly to check food or drinks while secretly checking her phone and whispering. Each time I approached, she'd offer a brief smile, touch my arm, and then depart. I chose to dismiss it. Emma was known for her restlessness during social gatherings, moving around and interacting with everyone. However, when Adrian, a colleague I had only heard about, arrived, the situation changed. Young, self-assured, athletic, he immediately drew attention. People took notice of him quickly, but Emma's interest seemed most piqued. Her smile broadened, her demeanor brightened. She looked at him with a warmth I hadn't observed before. Within minutes, they were in a corner, engaged in quiet conversation, sharing laughter over things unheard by others. Initially, I chose to overlook it. I was preoccupied with hosting duties, serving drinks, and monitoring the grill. But every time I looked inside, I saw the same scene. Maha, Emma, and Adrian standing near each other, conversing, laughing, leaning towards one another. Initially, their shoulders brushed. Gradually, others began to take notice as well. Two neighbors shared an uneasy glance. One of my companions elbowed me. "Hey, you okay with this guy?" he whispered. I attempted a smile and shrugged, feigning indifference, but soon enough the truth could no longer be denied. I ventured inside to get a drink and moved towards the kitchen. As I rounded the hallway bend, I spotted them standing together, isolated. Adrian's hand rested comfortingly on Emma's lower back. The placement was deliberate. His fingers lingered there in a casual manner, and Emma did not retreat. She didn't move an inch. Instead, she returned a smile, causing a weight to settle in my heart. Yet a part of me remained in denial about the scene before me. I approached them calmly and asked if we could step outside for a brief conversation. Instead of replying softly, she crossed her arms and expressed annoyance with a rolled eye. "Not now," she declared loudly enough for others to hear. "Don't spoil the evening," her voice echoed painfully. She seemed irritated, almost ashamed, as if I was the culprit. I suppressed the lump in my throat and retreated outside alone. Standing under the cool night air, attempting to compose myself, I could see the warm lights of our new home glowing through the windows. I kept repeating that everything would become clear soon. However, when I returned inside, the scene had shifted dramatically. The living room fell silent. Soft music still played, but conversation ceased. Guests stood uneasily in a circle. Emma stood there, her face filled with emotion. Adrian was beside her, standing closer than any colleague should. The guests looked puzzled and uncomfortable. Then abruptly, Emma erupted. She pointed straight at me and yelled angrily, "Everyone, I'm sleeping with him." The room gasped. Loudly she repeated, her voice trembling. "He's superior to you, so just depart, go away, leave right now." The room stood frozen. In the quiet, no one stirred or spoke. Instead, they stared at us in disbelief. A hushed, "Oh my God," echoed around us, and I felt like a weight was pressing on my chest as well. It wasn't just the pain of betrayal that cut deep. It was the brutal nature of the moment, the public humiliation. Her words seemed to be a public sentence of death. Yet it was Adrian's reaction that took me aback. He looked utterly shocked, clearly unprepared for what had transpired. "Emma, what in the world?" He murmured softly, but she paid him no mind, instead looking at me as if she had just claimed victory. I remained silent, taking a deep, deliberate breath before nodding once and making my way toward the door. The guests stepped aside to let me pass without a word or an attempt to halt me. Emma anticipated rage or despair from me, but instead I left without even glancing back. And that silence, it cut her deeper. As soon as the door closed behind me, the facade she had built started crumbling. Moments passed in silence, then reactions ensued. A coworker shook his head disapprovingly. A neighbor expressed disappointment with a glance. "You've just humiliated your husband," someone murmured softly. "Why?" Emma questioned. I didn't consent to this," he stated decisively. "You're acting irrationally. I'm not involved in whatever is happening here." Stunned, Emma gazed at him. Without another word, Adrian left, heading towards the exit. The man she had chosen over her husband abandoned her, standing there solitary. Shortly after, guests began departing as well. They collected their belongings quietly, whispering amongst themselves in disbelief. The celebration meant to be joyful turned into an embarrassment. Soon the house fell into silence. Emma was left alone in the center of the living room, surrounded by empty glasses, dirty plates, and the mess she had created. The house I had paid for. The house that was meant to hold our future. That night, my phone kept lighting up with Show's repeated calls. By 12, she attempted 27 times. Lengthy texts were sent. Voice messages drenched in tears. She attributed it to alcohol. She expressed a desire for attention. She swore she didn't mean her words. However, the truth was straightforward. In full view of everyone, she unveiled her true self. And in doing so, she razed everything to the ground. I didn't revisit either. The following morning, her parents visited our house after hearing the news. They found Emma curled up on the couch weeping. Decorations remained intact. Dishes cluttered the tables. Silence pervaded the house. The festivity had concluded. The marriage she had dismantled with her words turned into ashes within a night. She desired me out, craved another man, sought drama, attention, and dominance. Yet in the finale, she received something she never anticipated: utter annihilation.